Hi, Zobo1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Xbox. What you're watching is another one of my fights from the Rain 1 year anniversary. Super Blaze and me were hanging around at his carrier and he challenged me to another 1v1. He was like, I know you want to have a fight. And this is my crate. This was my crate Mark II that I built for the crate tournament. And I'll actually be bringing you my crate tournament fight at some point. I mean, my crate's probably about 90% done. I'm missing a lot of the experimental effects. I tend to remote engineer all the way up to tier 5 and then go get the experimental effects afterwards. I think the only things that had the experimental effects on were like the distro, the power plant and the weapons. So a lot of special effects missing. The armor hadn't been finished, no special effects on any of the armor or hull. But you know, the weapons were pretty much all done, I think, and you know, it was fine for what I wanted to do, which was just have a bit of a fun 1v1 in a ship that I don't normally fight in. And it was good to have a bit of practice before my actual bout in the tournament, because this was the first time I'd ever flown this thing in combat, so you know, I should really have at least one practice fight and something under my belt before I take it into a tournament. In fact, my second fight in this ship was my tournament fight, so there we go. This was my bit of practice before the tournament bout. But it's a nice fight between two not very meta-y ships. Having a bit of fun, having a laugh, having a nice 1v1. Super Blaze is using a Challenger. He had the choice of all the ships on his carrier and this is the one he was in. And it was an enjoyable fight, so I thought I'd bring it to you. The reason I'm using this as background and it's nice that it's two non-meta-y ships, is Starro just posted on the Elite Dangerous forums about an idea for rebalancing ships across Elite Dangerous, saying that he would like to see it that smalls get 2 utility slots, mediums get 4 and bigs get 8. That 2-4-8 structure would then weaken certain medium ships, increase the strength of large ships and generally balance things out. Now I'm fine with this because my Type 7 with that many utility slots would be brilliant, and it's definitely a large ship. I don't want anyone telling me it's not, because I can't handle outposts, so therefore it's a large ship. And yeah, I love the fact Super Blaze is typing messages while competing in a 1v1. We were in a massive party chat and he didn't have a mic, so he was typing everything, and it was quite hilarious how he just carried on typing while in the middle of a fight. He did it a few times later on, and it was like, how's he still how's he still doing everything while typing messages as well? But now I know a lot of people are going to be annoyed by Star's post. I'm expecting it to be a salt harvest, to be honest, because the people who like the meta FDL do like their shield tanks. However, if the FDL and Mamba were reduced to 4 boosters, it would open up that medium category so much more, and there'd be so many more ships that were viable. It certainly would make for an interesting change. You may get more success with some bi-weave FDLs and stuff like that. I think it would be an interesting thing to see what would happen, but it's never going to happen. I mean, let's face it, the Meta Lance and the shield tanks have been around for a long time, and every time FDev try and do something to adjust that meta, that shield tank meta, someone gets annoyed and poo-poos it. I'm interested to see what the result of Star's post is. I'm predicting a salt harvest. I don't know about you. I'd love to know what you think in the comments down below. Scenario Nuno's always thought, and a lot of players do, that big ships need to become stronger because mediums just rule the roost, and it should be the big ships that do rule. As a smalls guy, I really don't care. If I had my way, I would fly a small ship much more often. Certain Mamba builds with emissive and missiles would pay to my fun in my Cobra, and I don't fly smalls as often as I like to, but if I'm left in my own devices, I love being in my Viper Mark 4 or my Cobra Mark 3, derping around. I much prefer flying the small ships. They're more fun to fly, they're enjoyable to fly, The mediums are okay, but the bigs, I'm not a big ship guy, as many of you know. I promised Scooby that I would get a Corvette. I'm glad that I got it because it's fun and it's a troll build and it's silly, but ultimately I'm just not a bigs guy. I've got a Conda now which I use for long range bounty hunting against players. I've got my wake scanner on there and I can jet around the bubble looking for people that we're hunting. It's very, very good at its job, but it's a big ship that's a bit dull to fly. Do I think the big ships need to get stronger? I think it wouldn't hurt. If you standardize across like the size categories, I've got no problem with that. I even wouldn't have a problem if they classed the Type 7 and the Clipper as mediums and gave them the 4 utility mounts. It wouldn't bother me. It'd be interesting to see how they categorize certain ships like the Orca, for example, and things like that. But ultimately, anything to change up the meta would be great, because it is so boring when all you see is FDL, 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 and all you see is 2 rail, 3 plasmac, or 2 rail, 3 multi-cannons, or 4 short-range blaster rails and a huge multi-cannon. There's not that much variety in the builds. It's a lot of copy and paste. It's a lot of, oh look, another Meta Lance. Personally, I prefer it when people are fighting in weird and wonderful builds and weird and wonderful ships. That's why I like the less sweaty side of the community. The griefers, the gankers, and the sillies, will fly stupid builds. I mean, hell, I spent a lot of time in a Mark IV Cobra, which is the dumbest ship ever, but it's a great fun pirate ship. No one's scared of it. Anyone ever in the history of the game was scared when they get attacked by a Cobra Mark IV with no shields. They might get worried after I've hit them a few times with the fixed missiles, but to start with, they're not scared at all. And I think that's one of the beauties of it as a pirate ship, because it doesn't scare the customer off and doesn't make them combat log immediately. I would love to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think it would be a good idea to shake the meta up that drastically, to reduce all medium ships down to 4 boosters? Would really put the cat amongst the pigeons as far as I'm concerned, because a lot of ships would become more viable because they have better recharge rates on bi-weaves than the FDL and the Mamba. It would be interesting. I still think I could make a really good Rambo with 4 boosters. It wouldn't be as good, but hell, it would still have decent enough shields to ram things to death. And I gotta say, I'm actually enjoying my new build, the Crate. It's an interesting ship. When it's finished, it'll be a little bit tougher on the armor and it'll have a little bit more hit points. And I don't think I've even done the experimentals on the shield boosters, so I'll have a little bit extra something. But ultimately, even not quite complete, the 2 fights I've had in it, it's been very, very promising. I've got all phasing plasmacs on there. I was building it as a ganky ship, something to maybe fly alongside Polo when he's pirating as like the muscle or the threat ship. It's definitely for 1v1s only, because it's got a bi-weave shield, 1 set of banks, but ultimately it's all B-rated and armoured, so it can survive a gank. I'm looking at 1v1s with it only, not wing fights, because in a wing fight it would just get overwhelmed and slaughtered. But as a fun 1v1e type ship, I think it's got potential, and it's tough. It stays in the fight a lot longer than necessarily it should do, which is a good thing for me, because I'm not a very good pilot, so I need something that's going to be forgiving and give me a chance to do what I can do. And as given my first time using it, and given my pit management is terrible in this fight, it stood me in really good stead. And Super Blaze was definitely wanging it around in that Challenger. I was quite struggling at times to do anything, but I did turn the tables with hefty roundage, and the one thing about my ships is you know they're going to ram like hell, because I do build a chunky ship. But GG to a Super Blaze. As always, a really fun guy to fight. No salt, no silliness, just a really fun 1v1, and a good bit of sportsmanship shown by him. It was a fun fight. I just about won it. It was very close, and he was a great sportsman, as you can see. Unfortunately, his carrier was not so sporting, as you'll see now. As I turn around to go back to the carrier, I didn't notice it was red till about now. Now I've noticed it's red. So the carrier, a little less sporting than Super Blaze was. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I still got a shortcut back to the carrier.